So, I'm about to tell the story of how my ex, I ended up finding out to be a pedophile and down low gay. So, I literally knew him since I was 17 years old. I used to hang out with him when we were kids. That's when we, first had sex. And then, he would literally stalk me for like 10 years. And I broke up with my baby father. And me and him ended up like talking again and rekindling and whatever. And we were like the best of friends, two peas in a pod. Like we got along so well. Honestly, it started out as the best relationship I ever had in my life. It was amazing. It was almost too good to be true. Like it was amazing. And I have a daughter, and he was like super stepdad. He would fix my tire if I need, he would fix my car, he would give me money, he would work. He was adding a lot of income to the household. He would help me out with my daughter, and he was just a great all-around amazing person. But sociopaths and psychopaths are really good at pretending. It's so scary, like really good. So later on, we end up getting a house and moving into like a 3-bedroom house together. And everything seems like it's going so great. And he starts acting erratically out of nowhere. So I end up finding out that he has a drug problem. Not any old drug problem. He's starts using crack. Yeah. And I ended up digging deeper after all this because I'm like, how is this person? Mind you, this is after being together for 3 years. We were together for 3 years. And out of nowhere, I guess he relapsed because in his past, he used crack. I didn't know that. He never told me that. In fact, I found out he basically lied about his whole life. So once he started using crack, I called his mom and I'm like, what the hell? Like, do you know anything about this? And she just started telling me mad shit about how she's always had problems with him. And it makes sense because he did go to juvie when he was really young, but he made it seem like he was a square, like a nerd, like a nice, sweet guy. Like he was not a bad guy at all. So I was like, oh, wow, he's not in a gang. He seems like a really nice, God-fearing, positive man. And turns out it was all a lie. He's actually a fucking career criminal. He's also a pimp. And he human trafficked underage girls in his past. Yeah. So I ended up speaking to like his past friends and stuff and finding out he got one of his girls pregnant who was 16 at the time and he was like 28 and made her get an abortion. Also found out that he's a pathological liar and he's like a habitual cheater. And I noticed it because I started getting yeast infections and BV all the time, and I never had it. Like the whole time we were together for years. We've been fucking raw. Never got BV or yeast infection. It wasn't until the end when he was doing crack. Then I find out several of his homeboys are down low gay. I don't mean one. I mean like about 5. And I come home from work and he's butt ass naked with my dildo in his hand. And then I hacked his email and I hacked his Pornhub account and I found mad gay porn on there. And then we went to California and we were, out there with his friends who were down low gay. His down low gay friend was calling him sexy and they were just acting so weird. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, and then he was messing with a tranny named Crystal. Like, but this wasn't like a transitioned one. Like, it was still, she was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it. I'm not trying to be offensive. She was still, you know, had all her body parts and everything. She just was dressed as a woman. And he was really into butt stuff. Like, okay, I was a munch. I was in love, all right? I was stupid. He was, like, amazing. I was, like, obsessed with him. Yes, I was a munch. I'll admit that, okay? So it all started making sense. And then he started becoming extremely abusive. Like, extremely abusive. He went from Jekyll to Hyde. Like, he changed from this fairy tale, Prince Charming, amazing person to literally a demon. So then I find out he was cheating on me with a 13-year-old girl. And when I found out, the police had came and got the girl. He stole my phone, he stole my car keys, he stole my money, he stole my wallet. And then he was being abusive. He threatened if I leave, he was going to hurt me and stuff like that. So he was sleeping on top of me. I literally escaped from underneath him quietly like a Tyler Perry movie. It was January and it was like sleet and rain outside in New Jersey. And I couldn't even wear my shoes because I didn't want to creak down the staircase or make sounds on the floorboard when I was sneaking out the house to get away from him. Mind you, I didn't even have my car keys, nothing. I literally abandoned everything because I was so terrified of him. Because not only are you gay, but you're a pedophile and you're abusive. Like, you're a psychopath. And he broke my ribs and tried to kill me. So, yeah, and he threw me into a wall, broke the wall. Like, I was terrified. And he was smothering me with a pillow over my face when I tried to scream. So, yes, I ran out the house barefoot, ran in the street barefoot in January in the cold until I got to the train. And I took the train back to New York from New Jersey, South Jersey, to my mom's house in Brooklyn. She didn't give a fuck, she ain't shit. She was just like, why are you here? I can't help you. But whatever. Moral to the story is I was with this man. It wasn't until 3 years in that all of this stuff started happening. So it goes to show you don't really know a person. Like, I was literally living with him for multiple years and had no idea who he was. This whole time, I had a monster and a predator in my house. And also, I forgot to mention one time, he would do this. He did it twice. He would leave the door open when he was taking a shower, and my daughter would accidentally walk in the bathroom, and he would always pretend it was an accident, and she would catch him exposed. She'd be like, oh my God, and she'd run away. And he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, it was an accident, but it happened twice. And I looked it up, and I found out that's actually a form of grooming that a lot of pedophiles and predators do to little kids. Yeah, like they'll do fake, oh, I'm sorry, it's an accident, like expose themselves and pretend like they're getting out the shower. That's a form of grooming that pedophiles do. I looked into it. And one day he was out the shower wearing a towel, nothing underneath, and he tried to laying on the bed, and he tried to get my daughter to go on top of him and give him a hug. I was like, oh, fuck no. So I ended up telling other people about it, and he got scared, but then people ended up shooting through his bedroom window, which I don't give a fuck. You're a child predator. But it just goes to show you need to really watch out, ladies. Like, you never who you're dealing with. Like, I'm so glad I got tested. I have no STDs. I'm thankful I don't have, like, any diseases and that I made it out alive and that my child is not harmed. Like, it could have been so much worse. Like, God really looked out for me. And he just showed me that there's wolves in sheep's clothing. He taught me a lesson, a really hard lesson that I had to open my eyes to be less trusting, less open, less vulnerable, less loving, and really not just believe. You never really know who someone is. You always have to, it's sad, but I have trust issues for the rest of my life. Like, I'll never truly know who somebody really is. Because if for years you can pretend to literally be a whole other person, that's really scary. But then I became educated on psychopaths and sociopaths and narcissists and things like that, and just started learning about it. And yeah, so this is just awareness for anyone out there. You never really know who you're dealing with. Never jump into any commitment too fast with anyone. It really takes years to truly get to know somebody. And there's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing out here, and just be careful, ladies, because they prey on single mothers, especially with young children. And whether you have a boy or a girl, daughters or sons are still susceptible, both, to get abused. So just stay safe out there. Be really careful. This is real life. This is real shit.